Good evening, welcome to the City of Thompson. We're going to start tonight with the variation orders. It is the 25th of July, 2022. Variation order is number 1004-22, 128 Hemlock. Support. Called it to order. Supporting material for variation order number 1004-22, 128 Hemlock, Lot 1, Block 33, Plan 743, PLTO North Division. Construction of a multi-unit housing project, 12 units built within the front yard setback from 4.5 meters, 15 feet to 185 millimeters, 3 feet 2 inches, and reduce parking from required 16 spaces to 3 spaces on site in a commercial mixed use zone CMU. There's been a public notice has been put out, and we have the memo from the building inspector, application, zoning map, site plan, and site plan 2. Anthony, do you want to start, or we can?
No, I'll describe the project and then.
Yes, Bailey. The architect has submitted an application on behalf of the property owner. This is for the construction of a new 12-unit housing building on the property at 128 Hemlock Crescent. As per the discussion, there's 2 variances put forward. One is the reduction of the front yard setback, which is facing Hemlock Crescent from 4.5 meters or 15 feet down to 3 feet 2 inches, as well as a reduction from parking space from 16 to 3. As per the mayor's comment, the public notice has been submitted and all utilities been notified. To date, there have been no objections to this variance received. That's it. All other, just note, all other setbacks are within the zoning bylaw requirements.
Thank you. Anthony?
So this point, Your Worship, it's a public hearing, so there's members of the public can come forward. Those who are in favor of this, come forward first, and speak as to their name, and if they're in favor of the project or why, whatever statement they want to make. And then those that would be against, be asked to speak afterwards.
Thank you. I will call now for persons that are speaking in favor of this project to please come forward. State your name.
That would be me. I'm Dee Schloyer. I'm the executive director of Longwood Friendship Center. So as you know, 128 Hemlock will be our project. Right now, it's currently still owned by Winners Miles. I am in favor of it based on the clients that we're going to be serving. And we will, once further development happens and we become the property owners, we will be conjoining our 2 parking lots. Because I do own 122 Hemlock Crescent, which is right next door. So we have 9 spaces at 122, 3 there. Right now within the hospital, as you know, upstairs is all medical services clients who don't typically have vehicles. They're either medevacing or they come on the bus or on the plane. They stay for short periods of time, and it's a continuation of a burden. Downstairs are transitional clients who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. So primarily they do not own vehicles. So majority of the properties between the 2. The property on 128 will be for elders. It'll be affordable for elders who are less fortunate. So typically it's anticipated that they want to wear home vehicles, but we will be conjoining our 2 properties. Thank you.
Thank you. I see we have on the line, I see a Jacqueline. Is that related to?
Yeah, she's the architect.
Okay. Jacqueline, were you wanting to make any comments? Jacqueline Jasinski?
You're on mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Can you hear? Okay. I would like to say that this project has been scheduled for this site for some time, and that it's best served to serve as Wamanitok has been saying, to serve elders. We have said from the very beginning, back since 2016, that as in the city of Winnipeg, often the personnel that, or the personal people that will be living in these suites will be a very low auto ownership. I think we all know that just colloquially, but technically, it's very clear that they will not require parking. If that's the only consideration, I would submit to you that what was previously considered, which was maybe a parking plan for a group of renters that might be, Winnipeg type, like young people or couples and stuff like that, doesn't apply to this at all. I think that most people that will be living in this place won't have parking, and if they do, there will be some consideration for the next door.
Thank you. So for the record, you're in favor of this project?
Absolutely, more than in favor. Yes, yes. And even after analyzing the zoning options for what's best for the community, it would be my recommendation, please, that you would consider this.
Thank you very much. Do we have any more representation to support this project? See.
Can I just ask one question, quick one?
Mhm.
Because I know I'm not supposed to, but it's very interesting about the comment from the architect about the elders who will be living there do not have a vehicle, basically. Have you guys considered about visitors? Let's say the
I
family.
think things like that are when it goes to council and we'll get our chance. Am I not right, or can we ask?
No.
someone?
Clarifying questions to the,
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not asking clarify. When they put this plan together, they're talking about because they don't think that we have a vehicle. What about visitor, the family member coming in with the 12 unit, 12 different family? So what will be not the idea? What would be the plan to accommodate those visitors for the parking spot? That would be my question for
Did you hear the question,
the design.
Ms. Jasinski?
if you're trying to speak, you might have to unmute yourself. Yeah, so I'll address it based on the information that's been submitted to me, as we haven't. My understanding is that the parking is accommodated through the combination of the parking lots for next door. So as the previous speaker had said, that there's a combination of the two parking lots as they're adjacent. And that's how the accommodation will be made for visitors.
If be considered a clarifying question if I asked if there's been a contract work in the process of being worked out for parking.
I don't have that answer at this time.
Thank you. Okay, is there any spokespersons that want to object to this project?
I'm opposed to it, Ron Matachuk, 20 Ash Street. I live in the neighborhood. I'm not sure how it works in everybody else's world, but my mother's 87 years old. And her driveway is busier than any other driveway that I know of, any of her kids or grandkids. Everybody's there visiting all the time. And she has a lot of parking in her yard. But just because they're elders, it doesn't mean that they're not gonna have lots of company. And I think it's gonna be a problem with, parking on Hemlock. It's a narrow street, it's gonna become very congested. The problem now is gonna be the same as the problem was back in 2016. Nothing has changed. It doesn't fit the property. I am opposed. Thank you.
Okay. Any other objectors on this project? For third time, any objectors to this project? Thank you. We have now heard from both sides, and this will now be moved on to council agenda. Call for adjournment. Okay. We're going on to our next variation order. July 25th, 2022, variation order number 1005-22, 226 Mystery Lake Road. In this meeting, we've got supporting materials for variation order 10522, 226 Mystery Lake Road, lot 1, plan 8966, PLTO North Division, construction of an advertising sign built with the sign surface area exceeding 108 feet squared in 200 feet squared in a public institutional zone P1. Administration. Mr. Stranas.
Yes, so evening, Patterson Outdoor Advertising has submitted this variation application. Again, this is regarding the electronic sign that is being proposed to the corner of 326, which is just over here in front of City Hall. Our current zoning bylaw states that maximum sign surface area cannot exceed 108 square feet or 10 square meters. The proposed sign is 20 by 10 feet, which is a sign face of 200 square feet or 18.58 square meters. And that is why they've submitted this variance. The variance is proposed for the 2-week period. All utilities were notified, and no objections for this variance order have been received until now.
Thank you. Next, we'll go into receiving presentations of those in support of this sign. We have Jeff Pinchin on Zoom. Would you care to speak, sir?
I would.
Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to propose this partnership with the city of Thompson, and that we are very, very excited for this proposal and our ongoing partnership with the city.
Thank you. So you are in favor of this sign, sir? Officially?
We are in support.
Any other person speaking in support of this sign? Third and final call. Any other person speaking in support? Any persons will now vote that object to this sign being where it is?
Ron Matichuk, 20 Ave Street. I gotta ask, where exactly is this sign going? Is it near the ravine here that we call McLean Park?
Clarification, the sign will be posted right in the corner of Thompson Drive and Mystery Lake. So kind of right in the corner.
So blocking basically in front of McLean Park.
Will be the park blocking the ravine. It'll be on the highway road side of the park.
Yeah, all the materials attached.
Yeah,
So it will be, the foundation will be in McLean Park.
That is correct.
Okay. Has the McLean family been asked, what do you think of this?
No, this is city council's decision.
It is, but have they been asked? Apparently, a lot of others have been asked, Jitco, Hydro, MTS, but not the McLean family, who the park is named after. I am opposed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other opposition to this placing of the sign? McLean Park? Third and final call for opposition to this sign. Seeing that, call for adjournment. Next, we're going to go into, oh, yes,
We need a mover to second.
sorry, moved by, Councillor Colbert, seconded by Councillor Wong, all in favor. Carried. Next, we're going to go to conditional use, July 25th, 2022, conditional use 001-22 Jasper Drive. Supporting documents to conditional use 001-22 Jasper Drive to allow Manitoba Hydro to operate within the Public Environment Reserve Zone PER as Manitoba Hydro offices. Administration.
So at the July 11th meeting, the third reading of the zoning bylaw amendment to define Manitoba Hydro use as a conditional use, along with the definitions added to our zoning bylaw. We have received a conditional use application from the property leaser, as it is a land lease, to allow Manitoba Hydro to operate in that area, commonly referred to as the River Lodge property. Again, this area was posted and utilities were all notified, and to date, no objections have been received with regards to this conditional use application.
We will now go and receive presentations in favor or opposed to this project. Actually, presentations in favor first. Presentations in favor of this project. Seeing none. Any presentations opposed to this project? Second call, presentations opposed to this project. Third and final call, presentations for this project. Seeing none, call for adjournment. Councillor Wong, Councillor Valentino, all in favor? Thank you. Next, we're going to call the regular meeting to order for July 25th, 2022. We have regrets from Councillor Fountain, Councillor McMurdo, and Deputy Mayor Lundmark, and Councillor Cooper. On the Zoom, we have Councillor Valentino, Councillor Ellsworth, and in chambers here, we have myself, Mayor Smoot, Councillor Wong, and Councillor Colbert. I would like to recognize that we're on the traditional land of Nichiswayset Cree Nation, Treaty 5, and that we are on the homeland of the Métis, and that we are all treaty people. Thank you. I call for approval of the agenda. Councillor Wong, Councillor Colburn, all in favor? Carried. Community comments, feedback?
Ron Matachuk once again. In regards to 128 Hemlock, if I understand it correctly, there's gonna be a flow-through funding arrangement. And if I read it properly, approximately $1.1 million, is that correct?
Okay.
Yes, the government of Manitoba provided a number of affordable housing grants to a number of different cities around the city of the province. The city of Thompson was a recipient of a grant of about $1.1 million, which it has to administer. We give out to other organizations. At a previous meeting of council, council passed a resolution to allocate these dollars to the project at 128 Benoit.
You are in possession of these funds, or once this is agreed on, the funds will be put in place?
The funds are in the city's accounts.
So we're just passing it on. So could you tell me why the money wasn't given directly to Mama Weetalk, who is taking this on? Why is it going through the city?
It was the province's change in how they're delivering affordable housing projects. So the province decided to change their funding models and gave money to the municipalities instead of doing it directly.
Is there a way to access this model to understand it better for myself?
Yep, so the Manitoba housing offices can explain it, and we also have the agreement letters that I believe are already on Allnet that would have been passed when council received this one.
Could I see that letter? I'd like to see that letter.
Yeah, all those records can be inspected here at City Hall.
Okay, thanks.
And just further that The pond, Flynn Pond in the north were also recipients of the similar grants.
And are they putting a building on
It's up to
Kisqualla
each
property also?
It would be up to each municipality how they were. Ours for example. Any more community comments, feedback? State your name. Address.
I just want to clarify something before, you discuss the variance order for the parking. The parking is not on Hemlock present. In the original plans that Manitoba Housing had designed for 128 Hemlock, that was the case. When I got the original drawings at Friendship Center, the Friendship Center made a decision to flip the building. So there is no parking on Hemlock. It will be on public lane side, which is how we were able to enjoy to our parking. We have always, in the 29 years that I've been at Friendship Center, had a verbal agreement, if you will, to utilize the parking across the street if need be. Which is a far cry from the agreed into church parking. So I just wanted to clarify that. The parking will be.
Thank you. Any other comments on community feedback?
And I just want to clear up this, the parking in that area, public parking is on Hemlock. There is no parking other than parking lots on that lane. The public would be expected to park on Hemlock where you can park on the street, but it is very congested.
Thank you. Okay. Any other community comments, feedback? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next, we have adoption of minutes. 5.1 is public hearing for variation order number 1002-22 for July 11th, 22. For resolution 2022-141, this resolution, I have a mover, Councillor Colburn. I need a seconder. Councillor Valentino. Resolution 2022-141, moved by Councillor Colburn, second by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that the minutes of the public hearing for variation order 1002-22-67 Rankin Crescent held in Council Chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, July 11th, 2022, be adopted as circulated. Administration
Nothing further.
and council, any questions? Call for the question, all those in favor? Carried. Six point two is adoption of minutes for public hearing for variation order number 1003-22 from July 11th, 2022. Resolution 2022-142. I also need a seconder. I've moved by Councillor Colburn, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Resolution 2022-142, moved by Councillor Colburn, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that the minutes of the public hearing for variation order number 1003-22 504 Princeton Drive held in Council Chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, July 11th, be adopted and circulated. Administration,
Nothing further.
council? Call for the question. Councillor Colburn.
I moved this, but I voted against it the night that we voted this. I don't think there's enough planning done putting this place up there by the school. No, I think this is just for the fence, right?
We're just discussing the minutes. If you're,
Okay,
this is, the debate's over on that. This is
Okay.
just that the minutes are correct.
okay, I moved it, but I won't be voting. Thank you.
This is just voting for the
Yeah.
minutes. Okay. Call for the question, all those in favor? Opposed, abstained. And Bridget, you're abstaining,
Voted
or
against,
just opposed?
opposed.
Okay, can I ask how that works if you've moved it and then oppose it? It's okay? Okay. It is carried. Five point three is public hearing for bylaw 2028 2022, July 11th, 22. Resolution 2022-143, moved by Councillor Colburn, second by Councillor Wong. Be it resolved that the minutes of the public hearing for bylaw 2028-2022, zoning bylaw amendment held in council chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, July 11th, be adopted as circulated. Administration, council. Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Five point four is regular meeting of council, July 11th, 2022. I need a seconder for resolution 2022-144, moved by Councillor Colburn, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Resolution 2022-144, moved by Councillor Colburn, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held in council chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, July 11th, 2022, be adopted as circulated. Administration,
Nothing further.
council. Call the question. All those in favor? Carried. Five point five is committee of the whole, July 18th, 2022. I have mover Councillor Colburn for resolution 2022-145. I do need a seconder. Councillor Ellsworth. Resolution 2022-145, moved by Councillor Colburn, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Be it resolved that the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting of council held in council chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, July 18th, 2022, be adopted as circulated. Administration,
Nothing further.
council. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Next, we're going to go into resolutions. Resolution 6.1 is a resolution to approve variation order number 1004-22 128 Hemlock Crescent. Resolution 2022-146, moved by Councillor Wong, seconded by Councillor Colburn. Whereas the city of Thompson is in receipt of a variation order application number 1004-22-126 Hemlock, Lot 1, Block 3, Plan 743 PLTO North Division for the following. Construction of a multi-unit housing project, 12 units built within the front yard setback from 4.5 meters, 15 feet to 965 millimeters, 3 feet 2 inches, and reduced parking from a required 16 spaces to 3 spaces on site in a commercial mixed use zone C-MU. And whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representations for and against the variation order. Now therefore be it resolved, the council approved variation order number 1004 -22 128 Hemlock Crescent. Administration,
So yeah, good evening again. Yeah, so this, the developer, the architect for this project is doing the variance. Again, just a reminder, it's, there are two items here. One is the front yard setback reduction from 15 feet to 3 feet 2 inches. And the reduction in the number of parking spots from 16 to 3. All other proposed measurements, et cetera, are within the setbacks. As per the Planning Act, this variation, variance was circulated to all property owners within 100 meters, as well as to stakeholders like utilities, and no objections were received. The public hearing was held on July 25th, earlier this evening. There were 2 presentations in favor and 1 against this variation.
Thank you. We'll go to Councillor Wong.
Thank you.
As the
Madam
mover.
I like the project, but I don't like the location. This is way back a few years ago, we already had this discussion. I think somehow the question I kind of asked earlier about the, have they ever thought of the, when the architect designed this, flip around the building, reduce the parking spot, whatever, that part to me is not really a concern, but the question I asked, have you ever thought about the visitor? So I didn't get the answer. So I still think it's too congested into the small little area for all this unit. And what if later on they do happen to have a lot of visitors show up the same time, let's say Christmas time or some big event that all the family come and visit the grandma, grandpa, and all that. Where's all this parking lot to be parked? Like all these vehicles. So that part I need to have some solution before I can say good or bad. Otherwise, to me at this moment, it's no until I get that resolved. Otherwise, even though I understand the adjacent part of the solution, but I believe the Mama Wita already have their own client. It's already have a requirement for their client for the parking spot. So now you're adding another 12 unit, 12 different family. So I don't know how they can juggle around with that parking spot. And to me, I even took my time to do the measurement about the church. And I think it's a little bit of, it's not practical for people that, let's say in the winter time, you park across and walk across the road to go home and all that. I don't think it's practical. Yes, you will meet the requirement for parking purpose, but it's not practical when it comes to reality life. So again, until I can hear, I can see the solution. And other than that, I think at this moment, I think it's too crowded in that small little area for such a big building for 12 units. And that will be it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Valentino.
Thank you, Mayor Smook. I'm going to be supporting this tonight, both of the variations under the one resolution. I appreciate the clarity from Disha Boye and Mama Weetalk, especially with, we know that Manitoba Housing right now is the owner, and the ownership will switch over to Mama Weetalk and join the parking lots. Definitely suffices the amount required in my eyes, as this is transitional housing. It's not a long-term housing where people stay there. It's just a transitional housing unit. So, and as per what the architect says, and if you look at any information background on transitional housing, typically, and it's okay to say it, but in transitional housing facilities, people don't have vehicles and there isn't a lot of visitors because they're transitioning to move out of there. So definitely everything is in order for me to support this. And I'm thankful that we can continue the partnership. I supported the $1.1 million resolution that we can get this project going, as the need for transitional housing in our city is huge. And this is the first step in getting it done. So I congratulate again Dee and her work and Mama Weetalk and getting this rolling, as it's definitely a project that needs to develop here. I would also like Mayor Smook to request a recorded vote tonight. Thank you.
Councillor Coburn.
Well, I consider it a very good project. Very good project. Parking is a consideration. The congestion on Emerald Street is another. Is there ever been any consultation on the parking on them, not how to avoid it. Anything like that. You know, it's a very good project, but still lots of questions there. Going from 16 to 3, that's a big jump. Right? Now, I know she's given us consultant that they're only going to the people with a vehicle, so they've got from Longs, that there's Council Longs, sorry, says that there's visitors, there's always visitors in these places. Right? So I'd like to see the actual plan on the parking, not saying once it's transferred, because when Manitoba Housing went, they contacted me at Northern Inn for parking. Right? Now, if the Mama Weedock is gonna move in there too and join them off, I'd be quite happy with that. Right? But I still want some consultation on what to do on Hemlock Street. The guarantee there will be parking. Right, the guaranteed to be parking there. So I'd like to see that. I'm on the bridge here now, whether agreeing or not. You know, but I'd like to see some things done. And this is this resolution is going to move it forward, right? Nothing else coming back to us at the city to discuss this.
If the council passes this resolution, then they're allowed to proceed with that part of the project.
So, but there's nothing really about parking on Hemlock.
There's nothing in here on this. So as the proponent said, the parking, the building was flipped so that the parking would be facing onto public way, I believe it's called.
Is there
And then-
fences or anything involved in the design down Hemlock, so people can't go in there? You know, it's congested like everybody's saying, and going from 16 parking stalls, which are required by our bylaws, down to 3. And then like Council Wong said, well, okay, we're gonna get 9 at the Mama Weedock. You know, is that what happens to the parking lot that's required on the Mama Weedock? Then you gotta reduce the parking on at the Mama Weedock. They're not gonna come up with the right amount of parking spots. So there's a lot of issues here. You know, I love the project. But right now, I think this time is, I want some more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony?
Yeah, so all the site plans and everything are provided to council, so they're attached there. You can see the building layouts on the lot and how everything's typically set up. So that was all attached under the public hearing.
Yeah, I seen that. But there's only 3 parking stalls and you don't show nothing blocking off Hemlock. Correct?
I'm just providing. what we
Hemlock
have
is
provided.
still wide open to the people using that spot. Free parking. Right? I think if you're gonna allow this, I think you should put up parking. Thank you.
Councilor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Mama Weedock and those that have been involved in the project. We talk a lot about our homeless population. This is very clear to me. It's transitional. You need to understand the word transitional. And certainly, I think any project you'd like to see more parking. But realistically, if people need to go into transitional housing, chances are they couldn't afford a bus pass, let alone a vehicle. I think it's a great project, and I hear what my fellow councillors have to say, but I certainly will support it because I think it's the right thing for Thompson overall. We need to take people off the street, not leave them, and certainly vote against something because of the lack of parking. I don't think parking is the real issue here, so I'll certainly support the project.
Thank you. Councilor Wong, you have your hand up again?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want a clarification, because earlier when it comes to the public hearing, I heard Dee say it's elderly and unfortunate. I never heard a transition, but all of a sudden become a transition house. I think they're 2 different things, right? I just want a clarification, please.
I actually also.
So my understanding is under the Manitoba housing definition, we defined as affordable housing is my understanding of how it's defined. But the affordable housing is a reduced income rate. It's set up so that it's defined, I think, yearly by the province. but it's for people who are under the regular income scale and who struggle to get any type of housing. So that's the purpose of the grant that we received, and that's also the purpose of this project.
So may I continue? So I think somehow some people are misleading the public about transition house. It's nothing to do with transition house, if I get the clarification. So it's totally two different scenario now. So I don't like that. To me, it is what it is. We have to say that what it is. So to me, if this is a transition house, it's a totally different equation. So I will have different opinion, but when it's not, but try to mislead me, I don't like that. So anyway, I think I stand for what I just said. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
Yes, Mayor Smook, I think there needs to be a clarification. My understanding it was transitional. I understand what the grant was allocated for. That's clear as well. But what I'm hearing, it was transitional. I didn't hear that it was for a certain group of people like elderly or someone that couldn't afford it. So certainly there needs to be an explanation on exactly who will be occupying this building.
Anthony?
Yeah, so all this information has been provided previously to council in a package and presentation. What it is for elderly people who hit the definition of requiring affordable housing. So that's what's been presented in the past. It's for people who are elders in the community and require affordable housing, so they can't afford market rent housing. So their less is the way it was described, is that they cannot afford the regular housing prices in Thompson. That's the purpose of a subsidized project like this. When the government puts their money in, it's for people who can't afford that market rent housing.
Okay, Councillor Ellsworth?
Good.
Anyone else here? Okay, I too support the project for the housing as such as that we need it. With 12 units, accessible housing, definitely a great boon. My concern definitely is with the 3 parking stalls, and that is all that's there. I would, if there was an official agreement with Mamawitak, I'd like to feel a lot more comfortable supporting it. But right now, whether it be, as we're having different discussions, support services, for whether it be elderly, whether it be lower income, whether it be transition, you're still going to need those client service vehicles that are going to attend to the tenants. Even if only 1 or 2 tenants out of the 12 have a vehicle, that will turn into an issue. And as one of my concerns too was visitors. I do know that it's just taken into Rotary Place. Very few people have, if any, have visitors there. But when I have gone there on a Sunday afternoon, there's been times where it's been hard to find a parking spot, and they have ample parking spot. Service vehicles for deliveries, people that are making deliveries to there or setting up equipment and that, they also need a park. Home care, a lot of these folks will have home care. You know, if we ever get back foot care, there's foot care people that come, meal service, there's many things. So I am basically all for this apartment, but I definitely need to see an agreement with the connecting lot. I don't know if there's any way, if anybody wants to table this until we see an agreement, or if this had to go through. We've got similar scenarios with parking spots that were made agreements many years ago. We have the, you know, the Canadian Tire parking lot, which services the Thompson Inn, the post office, the RCMP, the homeless shelter and that. And I know we have issues over that over the years. So I definitely would like to see an in-place parking plan before I would support this. Thank you. Moving on, oh, Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I couldn't agree more. I'm a little confused when it comes to, I hear what Anthony say it, and he's right. It certainly was in the package. The transition came up, which changes the old subject. I'm prepared to table it because I think that even if we see an agreement, as you suggested, in place, I think it would go a long ways with supporting the project. Seeing how many parking spots is on the other site would help us as well. How many units is there? How many parking spots is there? And if you combine both of them, then is it adequate? The other question I've got is, if the variation doesn't go through, does that mean the project doesn't go through? Could someone answer that?
Anthony?
Yeah, if the project is unable to meet the definitions required of the zoning bylaw, or if a variation isn't granted, then the project would not be able to proceed with council approval.
Okay, thank you.
Council wants to study this more, that you would table it, rather than take a vote at this time.
Thank you. Councilor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to make a Gussie suggestion. Instead of study, I don't think that there is more study about it because the location, the land square footage is the same, will not grow. Doesn't matter how you study, it's still the same square footage. So I like to make a suggestion, I don't want to kill this project. I want this project to be happen. But I think they should look for another location. Eastwood area, there's a lot of land still available, I believe. So what I suggest is that maybe get the house, maybe sell this land and get another land and do that project. So I think it will be win-win situation for everybody in this room today. So
That would put a totally different spin on it. I really think that right now we have the motion on the floor of Councillor Ellsworth to table this. Do we have a seconder?
Kathy,
Councillor Valentino seconds it. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
This registered vote.
That was if we were voting to table it. I don't think we need to record it. though.
Okay,
So we will agree to, yes, Anthony?
We need a date on where it's gonna come back.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my calendar.
so what do we want for it to come back? I want to see some action on Hemlock Street. And I want to see an agreement with the Mama we talked. Right, and see, well, I don't know how many parking stalls are required right now for the Mama we talked. I know they're not using very much. I drive by there and it's pretty well. And you hardly see any vehicles there. But what is their requirement? So that, what is their thing? It's will be 1.25 parking stalls per unit.
Yeah, we can get that information.
We'll
Right.
get-
So,
we'll get all that.
You know, have they got enough there now, or are they working on a variance?
Okay, one
okay.
last one. So I would, so we would table it to the next council meeting, August 15th. Is everybody in agreement with that? Okay, I'm getting nods on the screen.
Okay,
Councilor Colbert, okay. So this motion has, resolution has been tabled till August 15th. Oh, yes. Next, we have resolution to approve variation order number 1005-2226 Mystery Lake Road. I need a mover and a seconder on this in order for it to go through. Councillor Valentino, mover, Councillor Ellsworth, seconder. Resolution 2022-147, moved by Councillor Valentino, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Whereas the city of Thompson is in receipt of variation order application number 1005-2226 Mystery Lake Road, Lot 1 Plan 8966 PLTO North Division for the following: construction of an advertising sign built with the sign surface area exceeding 108 square feet to 200 feet squared in a public institutional zone P1. Whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representations to and or against the variation order. Now therefore be it resolved that the council approve variation order number 1005-22226 Mystery Lake Road, subject to the approval of the property lease agreement with Patterson Outdoor Advertising. Put administration.
Yeah, good evening. So Patterson Outdoor Advertising submitted this application against our zoning bylaw, which states the sign surface space cannot exceed 100 square feet. The proposed sign is 200 square feet. This is for the proposed sign to be at the location in front of City Hall here at 226 Mystery Lake Road. As per the Planning Act, this variance was posted for a period of 2 weeks and was circulated to affected property owners. The utilities have all been notified, and to date, no objections were received from those. As was stated, the public hearing for this was held tonight, Monday, July the 25th. There was one presentation in favor and one presentation opposed.
Thank you. Go to Councillor Valentino.
Thanks, Mayor Smook. Yeah, I'm supporting the variation order for this as is and as for the information that was provided at the public hearing. Thank you.
Councillor Wong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The last meeting we had, I think there was a couple of questions from some of my colleagues. One is, I remember once from Councillor McMurdo regarding if, let's say, the business not that great, so when it's tearing down, on who expense? Did we get that clarification yet?
Good answer now. Okay. Yeah, there were questions raised during last week's meeting. So as per discussions with Patterson Outdoor, if at the end of the contract it's not, the sign will be cut, capped, and graded at the expense of Patterson Outdoors.
To us, sorry?
The sign will be cut, the area will be capped, the post will be capped, and the area will be graded at the expense of the leasing Patterson.
Okay, appreciate.
There were two other questions, if you want to answer them now, or there were two other questions. One was with regards to lease sign revenues from the past years. There were $6,511 in sign permit revenue in 2020 and $1,338 in sign revenue in 2021. That was the second question. The third question was whether we've been in contact with Manitoba Infrastructure. I'll actually let City Manager speak to this because he spoke with Barry today.
Yeah, I spoke with Manitoba Infrastructure. They've indicated that the city of Thompson is the road authority, therefore it's up to council to decide on what it likes. Council can always consult with their highway engineers should they want, but it falls down to the authority of council.
Because I remember we do have a concern about that intersection of the accident cases happen because of that location. So now if we put up a sign, which is I like to see that happen as well. But I still believe we need to have some consultant from, even though I understand the final decisions to come to us, I still like to have some consultation from the highway department regarding to have that particular location. So whether they will support that or not, I still believe we should have that consultation from them first. That way, at least we have a peace of mind. Thank you, Mandy.
Okay. Councillor Valentino.
Thanks, Mayor Smook. I just kind of to Lyle's point, this is just the resolution for the variation order. The actual lease agreement is a resolution further down in the agenda, just for council's information. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Poker.
Just a couple of questions there. Is it a two-sided sign?
No, it's just single sided.
So it's going to be facing that way or this way?
It'll be at an angle towards the intersection. So the traffic will.
From City Hall, you see the back of the sign.
City Hall, from City, yes, from City Hall, you can see the back.
And is it electronic sign or billboard, whatever?
Yeah, it's an electronic sign. So it's much like the sign that we'd see in Winnipeg. It's rotating advertisements, static advertisements. There is no flash, no video, no moving picture. There's solely words and text or like static pictures.
Thank you.
Any other councillors? Comments? Okay. I will make a couple comments myself. Thank you. When I first heard it, I had some concerns on being such a busy intersection There has been some accidents there in the past. I also worry about the ambulances and the fire trucks that go through that intersection with their lights blazing and you know, sometimes the traffic isn't stopping now, so it's just sort of one more hindrance. When I had mentioned it to the RCMP in one of our meetings, they asked if there was a caveat that if accidents increase, we have the ability to take the sign down down the road. That was another question. I've had a couple of people that I've talked to that are worried about the aesthetics and information pollution on that corner with the number of people that do use that corner. So that is basically what I have. Thank you. Seeing no more questions, Councilor Wong.
May I suggest, Madam Mayor, table this? Need a motion to table it?
Are you making a motion to table it?
Yes.
Is there a seconder for that motion? Councilor Colbert? Okay, all those in favor?
Quick question, when it's coming back in 2 weeks,
It will come back on, I would recommend that it also come back on the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay. Opposed? It's carried to table. Thank you. We will get the information requested or further before that. 6.3 is a resolution to approve conditional use number 001-22 Jasper Drive. Resolution 2022-148, moved by Councillor Wong, seconded by Councillor Colbert. Whereas the city of Thompson is in receipt for conditional use application number 001-22 for lot 1 and 2 plan 706 PLTO Jasper Drive to allow Manitoba Hydro to operate within the public environmental reserve zone (PER) as Manitoba Hydro offices. And whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representation for and or against the conditional use application. Now therefore be it resolved that council approve conditional use application number 001 for lot 1 and 2, plan 7602 PLTO Jasper Drive to allow Manitoba Hydro to operate within the public environmental reserve zone as Manitoba Hydro offices. Go to administration.
Yeah, so on the July 11th council meeting, the use class definition for Manitoba Hydro office was added to the zoning bylaw for Thompson under the public environmental use of the PER zone. As the application was submitted for the property at the above noted address on Jasper Drive, conditional use application to allow Manitoba Hydro to operate an office in the building there. As per the Planning Act, the the conditional use was posted and affected property owners were notified. Utilities were also notified, and no objections to the conditional use order were received during the posting period. A public hearing was held tonight, Monday, July the 25th. There were no presentations in favor and no presentations against the conditional use application.
Thank you. Councillor Wong is the mover.
Nothing further to add, Madam Mayor.
Any other comments? Councillor Colbert.
so this here is an urban public. But the second, it's urban bylaw, urban reserve. What's the bylaw?
No, under the zoning bylaw, our zoning bylaw, that zone is PER, which is Public Environmental Reserve. So at the last council meeting in July, there was a zoning bylaw amendment to add a use category called Manitoba Hydro Office in the PER zone as a conditional use. So this is the conditional use application to allow Manitoba Hydro Office to utilize the property as such.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna vote against this one. Because Manitoba Hydro has got an office over here on Station Road, can't even go there. And pay your bills anymore. Right, so with that bit, they gotta be at the office and in there. be used, instead of turning this into an office area. That area, I don't think should be anything like that. I think we should keep the parks to the, you know, but, they got a lot of area where they can put off, because I don't know why they want to put off, there. But I'm voting against it.
Thank you. Any other councillors? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Six point four is a resolution authorizing administration to enter into an amending agreement with Reaching Home contract with Andrea Papa. I need a mover and a seconder for resolution 2022-149. Counselor Wong as mover. And Kathy Valentine was second. Resolution 2022-149, moved by Counselor Wong, seconded by Counselor Valentine. Be it resolved that council authorize administration to enter into an amending agreement for the Reaching Home contract with Andrea Happ. Administration.
Okay, so the Reaching Home program is a program administered by the city of Thompson on behalf of the federal government to do with housing and homelessness in our community. In the past, this was given to different agencies to run, but council has opted to use a contractor to run it. Since we've been given this last allocation of money, I think it was beginning around 2018. Through the period of COVID and since, the federal government has doubled its allocation to the city of Thompson, which has increased the workload to go with it. The current contractor has requested a 4% increase on the contract, which is what would be negotiated by myself between them, as well as a number of other small changes to the way the program is delivered. All the dollars that come from this come directly from the government of Canada. So it is not city of Thompson money. It's just allocating the federal dollars towards the wage and the support for this program.
Thank you. Counselor Wong.
Thank you, Madam. I believe last meeting we had, we did talk about some amendment for the job description. So have that done. Have you discussed with her about the addition or whatever we?
The discussions have been held on that, yes.
So it's all resolved.
Most of it's resolved, but we'll still have to do the language, the final language for the amendment. That's the whole point of how the amendment is, the resolution is written, that you've given the permission to go ahead and make that change.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I think basically I have no reason to say no to this because it's just a postal funding, we just pass it on to them and plus the job. It's a hectic job, so appreciate that she is willing to continue. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other counselor? Okay, this is definitely has been a real asset to the city to be able to move this project out of the administration hands for the everyday work and have it on contract basis, and we really appreciate the work that's being done, so I definitely will be supporting it. Call for the question, all those in favor? Carried. Now, with the first part of this resolution, first resolution being tabled, we still go through this one? Anthony?
So I would anticipate your council is going to have the Genesis Code questions, so I'd recommend you request a mover to table this item as well.
Councillor Wong, as mover, would you table this?
Yes, please.
Councillor Colburn, would you agree? Okay.
Agree.
This resolution has to be tabled.
No, you need to call a vote.
Oh, okay, or, pardon?
You have to call a vote on it.
Okay, okay. All those in favor to move this, table this, move it till 15th? Carried, thank you. And that brings us, oh, Tammy, sorry.
Hi, just for procedures, just letting you know that as there's been 2 public hearings that have been tabled. As per section 1214-12 of our working procedural bylaw, it states that until the decision is made, there can be no further communication of any kind with council by the proponent or a member of the public.
Okay,
for which the public hearing has been held. So,
everybody understanding?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Just before we adjourn, sorry. We've received a letter today which could wait, but it's just important to everybody to know that our museum is now open again and has regular hours. It has had a struggle over the last between COVID and the passing of its curator. So just letting people know that the museum is open. The hours are 10 in the morning till noon and 1 to 5 p.m. Tuesday to Saturday. Adults are $10, students and seniors $6, 5 and under free. So I would just like to encourage all members of the public to please take in our museum. It's a very interesting place, especially with the annex has all the information in there. So thank you. With that, I'll call for adjournment. Councillor Coburn, Councillor Wong, all those in favor, carried. Meeting adjourned.